Even though I predicted Manchester City was going to drop points in game week 10, but well, I was shocked that AFC Bournemouth were able to outplay Manchester City in game week 10 and they got all the 3 massive points against Manchester City. And well, Arsenal in the early kickoff also lost 1-0 against Newcastle United, which in that game I predicted Arsenal to get a 2-1 victory, but well, the unthinkable happened. Even though Liverpool also conceded the first goal against Brighton, but later on in the second half, they were able to get 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes that led Liverpool to get all the 3 more points against Brighton. And Manchester United against Chelsea in game week 10 too, I predicted Chelsea to get a 2-1 victory, but at the end of the day, the match ended in the 1-1 draw at Old Trafford. Hey you, welcome to the channel for my Premier League predictions. Game week 11. Game week 10 was an exciting weekend full of surprises. So without wasting much of your time, let's get into the Premier League game week 11 predictions. Yeah, so starting the game week 11 predictions, the first game is between Brentford versus AFC Bournemouth. Bournemouth in game week 10 managed to get a 2-1 victory against Manchester City, which it was unpredictable. Even though going to that game I predicted Bournemouth to get a draw against Manchester City, I predicted a 2-2 draw, but City on the day were not good enough to get even a point out of that game. Bournemouth outplayed Manchester City in game week 10 and they got all the 3 maximum points. Let me big up players like Semenyo. Semenyo in this game, the way he was tormenting these Manchester City defenders, I was shocked and I was amazed. Brentford versus AFC Bournemouth. This is going to be an interesting and exciting game. Even though as I'm recording this video, Brentford are yet to play the game against Fulham. So going to this game, I'm predicting a 2-1 victory for AFC Bournemouth. AFC Bournemouth 2, Brentford 1. Well, moving on to the next game in game week 11 is between Crystal Palace versus Fulham. As I'm recording this video, Fulham are yet to play the game in game week 10, and Crystal Palace, even though in 10 also got a draw, and going to this game in game week 11 at Selhurst, but this is going to be a tough game for Crystal Palace. Fulham so far this season has been a very good side. Going away to Selhurst Park is going to be an interesting game. Going to this game, I'm going for a narrow draw. I'm predicting Crystal Palace 1, Fulham 1. Yeah, so moving on to the next game is between West Ham versus Everton. West Ham in game week 10 lost the game against Nottingham Forest. Everton also in game week 10 lost 1-0 against Southampton in game week 10. I'm going to this game at the London Stadium. West Ham hosting Everton. This is going to be a tight game and I'm going for a home advantage. I'm predicting West Ham United 2, Everton 1. Yeah, so moving on to the next game in game week 11 is between Wolves versus Southampton. Wolves in game week 10 also got a draw, and going to this game, Southampton, who also got the 1-0 victory over Everton. I mean, going to that game, I predicted Everton to get a 2-1 win against Southampton, but well, Southampton managed to get a 1-0 victory over Everton in game week 10. Wolves hosting game week 11. This is going to be a very tough game for Southampton, and going to this game, I'm predicting Wolves to get a 2-1 victory over Southampton. Wolves 2, Southampton 1. Yeah, so moving on to the next game in game week 11 is between Brighton versus Manchester City. This match coming on at the American Express Stadium. This is going to be an interesting encounter. Manchester City in game week 10 lost 2-1 against AFC Bournemouth, which was a very tough game. Brighton also in game week 10 also lost 2-1 against Liverpool, which was a very tight game. But well, going to this game in game week 11, Brighton hosting Manchester City. I know Manchester City is a club who cannot lose 2 in a row. So going to this game, I'm predicting Manchester City to get a 3-1 victory over Brighton. My prediction, Manchester City 3, Brighton 1. Yeah, so moving on to the next game in game week 11, the league leaders Liverpool versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa in game week 10 lost 4-1 against Tottenham Hotspur in game week 10, and Liverpool also in game week 10 got a 2-1 victory over Brighton. But going to this game, Liverpool hosting Aston Villa at Anfield, this is going to be a very tight game. Well, going to this game, I'm predicting Liverpool to drop points here. I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 2. Yeah, so moving on to the next game in game week 11 is between Manchester United versus Leicester City. Man United in game week 10 got a 1-1 draw against Chelsea, and Leicester also 10. Going to this game in game week 11, Manchester United hosting Leicester City at Old Trafford Stadium. Just a week ago, Manchester United smashed Leicester 5 goals to 2 in the EFL Cup. And going to this game at Old Trafford, I think Manchester United with new head coach, this is going to be his first victory at Manchester United. Going to this game, I'm predicting United to get a 3-1 victory over Leicester. Manchester United 3, Leicester 1. Listen, moving on to the next game in game week 11 is between Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle. Nottingham Forest so far, they are third on the Premier League table, which is very shocking as it stands in game week 10. Going to this game in game week 11 against Newcastle United, who also in game week 10 managed to get a 1-0 victory over Arsenal. Kanketesi Alexander Isak scoring a beautiful header to give Newcastle the win against Arsenal. Going to this game, Nottingham Forest so far this season, they have been impressive. Nobody will tell you if Nottingham Forest is now third on the Premier League table. It should show you how good they are and how going to this game they are going to get the good results against Newcastle. Going to this game, I'm predicting Nottingham Forest to get a draw. I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. Nottingham Forest 2, Newcastle United 2. Yeah, so moving on to the next game in game week 11 is between Tottenham Hotspur versus Ipswich Town. Tottenham Hotspur in game week 10 a 4-1 victory over Aston Villa, which even in that game Tottenham Hotspur conceded the first goal and they got the equalizer, and later on scored extra 2 goals to get a 4-1 victory over Aston Villa in game week 10. And Ipswich Town too in game week 10 they drew 1-1 against Leicester City, which in that game they got the goal in last minute. When the game was even done, and Jordan Ayew came from the bench and got the equalizer for Leicester City. So going to this game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in game week 11, I'm predicting Tottenham Hotspur to get a free win over. I'm predicting Tottenham Hotspur to Ipswich Town 0. Yeah, so moving on to the game of the week in Premier League, game week 11 is between Chelsea versus Arsenal. So far so good. Chelsea is 4th on the Premier League table and Arsenal is now 5th on the Premier League table. At the start of the season, if somebody tell you that Arsenal will be 5th as it stands in game week 10, nobody will believe it, but well, it's happening. So far, Chelsea in game week 10 got a 1-1 draw against Manchester United, and Arsenal also in game week 10 lost 1-0 against Newcastle United. Going to this game in game week 11, Chelsea hosting Arsenal at the Stamford Bridge. This is going to be a very tough game for both sides. And going to this game, I'm giving Chelsea the home advantage. I'm predicting Chelsea to get a 2-1 victory over Arsenal. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 1. Yeah, so these are my predictions for Premier League game week 11. Let me know your mind, your thoughts, and your predictions at the comment section. My name is Andy Fine. Until we meet in another video, I'll leave a link at the description. Go and check my good friend Mr. Footballer Luz. He also does similar prediction videos each and every game week. Go and check out his football channel. Until we meet in another video, bye bye for now.